Welcome back. So the Nets finally lose to the Knicks, first time since I think pre-COVID, so it's been quite a while. But the Nets cannot make it 10 straight against them, and they have now dropped two in a row. This is the second time they've had their full team basically since the trades happened. So I try to give them some slack, but it's still frustrating about the whole situation. Is still very frustrating. Like they literally willingly gave up two of the top five scorers in the NBA to have what we have now. I personally don't get it, but obviously as a fan, you just hope it works out. It's just so stupid. Like, bro, teams kill to have guys like that, and you just gave them away because you didn't feel like dealing with Kyrie Irving. It just makes no sense. So anyway, the game is going on technically. It's 123-101 Knicks, so you know it's over, but the Nets are sending out some guys in garbage time. But there's a lot of guys who played like complete crap tonight. Got to give credit to the Knicks first and foremost. I mean, Jalen Brunson was crazy good. I think he missed his first like three or four shots, and it felt like he did not miss after that. He was 15 of 21, was 6 of 9 at the line, which was kind of weird. Plus 23, 40 points. The guy killed us. Even Josh Hart, it might have been his first game as a Knick. I'm not sure, maybe his second, but of course he was newly acquired. He had 27 points, 4 of 6 from 3. Made a couple of threes here at the end from the corner, so he was great for them off the bench. But for the Nets side of things, I mean, once again, another game, back-to-back games where they were playing pretty well at halftime. They were up 3 at halftime. I think it was like 61-58 at halftime after Dinwiddie made that 3. And you're thinking, all right, it's going to be like a down-to-the-wire type battle, Knicks versus Nets as always. But then, the fourth quarter happens, or the second half, I should say, and the Nets do basically nothing. The Nets scored 22 in the third, and right now they have 21 in the fourth. So, the way they scored in the fourth last game against the Sixers was terrible. I forget how many points they had exactly, but it was somewhere. It might have been like under 20. It was pretty, or maybe like the low 20s. I don't know, but it was rough. So the Nets so far, like fourth quarter scoring wise, without these stars, Kyrie and KD, it's been awful. Like they just cannot have a guy who steps up in these situations. And, sometimes it'll be Spencer Dinwiddie, sometimes it'll be Cam Thomas, sometimes it'll be Mikal Bridges, but you don't have that guy. Like you used to have that guy, you don't have that guy anymore. So it's tough to know who the hell is going to step up. And honestly, nobody really stepped up tonight besides Dinwiddie, who wasn't that efficient. 8 of 21, 3 of 10 from 3, but he was 9 of 9 at the line, so that helped. So we'll go through the starting lineup. Dorian Finney-Smith played 29 minutes, had 9 points, was a minus 15, 4 fouls, 5 rebounds, didn't do much else. He was all right. He made a couple like nice threes in the third quarter that were pretty big to keep them in the game, but for the most part, he played pretty good defense. He might have had like 1 or 2 bad possessions, but he was all right. Just a decent Finney-Smith game. Cam Johnson, he was okay. 5 of 10, 2 of 6 from downtown, 14 points. Made a couple impressive three-pointers from the corner. 4 rebounds for him as well. He was all right. Nothing too impressive from him. He was like 2 of 8 from 3 in his first game. Now he was 2 of 6. So, the stroke hasn't been there yet, but hopefully at some point he figures it out. Mikal Bridges, definitely a disappointment. 29 minutes, 2 of 8 from the field, 1 of 3 from 3. Only had 5 rebounds, 3 assists. He had 7 points, which a guy like this now taking on a bigger role, you would you would hope that a guy like Mikal Bridges can definitely find a way to put up more points on the board, but it is what it is. Nick Claxton, 23 minutes, which kind of brings us to Jock Vaughn because some of these rotations and the playing time distribution was trash. We'll touch on that at some point, but yeah, Nick Claxton was 4 of 8, 11 points. He had 6 rebounds. He had 1 block. I thought Clax was good in the first half and maybe the third quarter too, but we did not see him much in the second half. It was very weird. I don't know why he was not a part of this game. They played Ben Simmons too long in the third quarter, in my opinion, and he just looked like he didn't want to be out there, so we'll get to Ben Simmons. But I thought Claxton was good, but he just did not play a lot. You had Dinwiddie, 33 minutes, 8 of 21, as I mentioned, the 28 points. He had 4 assists. Did have 2 turnovers, a lot of complaints to the refs, which I hate when Dinwiddie does that. Like, Dinwiddie will let the refs get in his head, and I don't like it because I feel like it affects the way he plays. Sometimes it might help, but I feel like in this particular case it was not helping. So Dinwiddie was like, putting up near 30 points, you'll take it, but just not efficient shooting for him. Royce O'Neal was not very good. He got in a little fight there with RJ Barrett, so that was like the only kind of good thing he did tonight. But outside of that, didn't do much in the game. He was 2 of 4 from 3. I'll give him that. 8 points, but not much else. 3 rebounds, 1 assist. Joe Harris was pretty awful. I mean, the last 2 games for Joe Harris was very, very good. He scored like, I don't know, maybe like 18 last game and like 21 the game before that. He made like 6 straight threes and back-to-back games. Like, he was looking good, Joe Harris. And then in typical Joe Harris fashion, he goes back to the guy he has been recently, which is not very good. And Jalen Brunson absolutely cooked Joe Harris on multiple occasions. He did one of those moves where you fake a shot mid-dribble, like a hesitation type move, and Harris like kind of like lunged at him, and he blew right by him. So Joe Harris is just awful on defense and kind of unplayable at some points. And I thought in a game like tonight, you should have put Yuta Watanabe instead of him. Like, Yuta, I don't think is a great defender, but definitely not as bad as Joe Harris. And for how bad Joe Harris looked on defense tonight, and he wasn't even that good offensively either. Joe Harris only had 3 points on 1 of 1 shooting, so only took 1 shot in 17 minutes. Thanks, Joe. But this was a Yuta Watanabe game. I don't know why they didn't play him more, but they decided to go with Joe Harris. Utah played in 4 minutes. Most of that was at the end in garbage time. Day'Ron was 5 of 5 in 15 minutes. He had 12 points. He had 8 rebounds, 2 assists. I don't think Day'Ron was that bad. I wasn't overly impressed, but not bad. Ben Simmons, here we go. Ben Simmons, 13 minutes, 1 of 2. 1 of 2, 2 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, and a lot of, pedaling on the bike. He has definitely been the Peloton king so far. Ben Simmons is a waste of money. I don't know how else you can defend this guy. It's like, I don't know. He does not look like an NBA player right now. There's no other way to say it. It's embarrassing. The man has he's under the basket. The only defender in front of him is Jalen Brunson, who might be like 5'10", 5'11", and the 6'10" Ben Simmons decides to fall away from the basket, shoot it short, and he misses like an easy floater when it should have been just a 1 power dribble and dunk. But for some reason, Ben Simmons is allergic to the basket. And then Simmons, I think in the early fourth quarter, he made a nice play defensively. I think he boxed out well, and then he tried to make a dumb pass in transition, got picked off by Josh Hart. It led to a and one, I think, by the Knicks. Even when he was making good plays, Ben Simmons, he just did some dumb shit right after. So he's tough to understand, and he just feels like he's going in the wrong direction. I mean, honestly, he at one point, Ben Simmons looked like he was turning his season around, but lately he just does not look playable. So I don't know what to do with him, but the Nets are stuck with him for the rest of this year. Cam Thomas was 2 of 8, only 7 points, so wasn't that great of a Cam Thomas day. Did not take a 3-point shot. The Knicks played good defense on Cam, I'll give them that, but he definitely was not too impressive. Then you had some bench guys, don't matter. Jock Vaughn was not good tonight. I thought, there was like 7 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, 8 minutes, 7 minutes to go, and Nick Claxton and Mikal Bridges were still on the bench, and you were down like 10 points, 12 points. You were still kind of in the game, but Jock Vaughn, for God knows what reason, just insist on not playing these guys. So that's the annoying part about this Nets team now, is that when they get down by 12, 14 points, you kind of feel like it's over because they don't have the same firepower that they once did with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. I mean, that's the problem here. So I don't want to sound like a downer, but obviously when you had KD and Kyrie, I think the Nets last year actually were down like 21 points at MSG with Kyrie and KD, and they came back and won. But if that was the case with this team, you ain't coming back because they don't have the offensive firepower. You may have a random game where Dinwiddie scores like 35 and Mikal might score 30. I don't know, but like Cam Thomas might score 35 too. But for the most part, these guys are who they are. It's just a bunch of really solid role players, and as I said on the top, I don't know why the Nets gave up on the 7-11 experiment. I mean, maybe it ran its course. I don't know, but it's just annoying because they definitely should be in title contention right now, but I think we know where the season is going. I think right now they are still in like the 6th seed, but, they're probably going to end in the play-in. I can't really see it going any other way. I would think by the time this season's over that the Knicks and the Heat will probably catch them. I'll check the standings real quick for you guys. I don't know if they'll be updated or not, but we'll make some sense out of it. The Nets, I think, are now 33-24. So there may be a game up on the Heat. I think the Knicks might be like a game and a half back now. So yeah, they're close to getting to that 7 seed, 8 seed area. Of course, 7 seed I believe is when the play-in starts. The Nets were in the play-in last year, as we know. So you don't want to get there, obviously, but the Nets are definitely not in the same conversation right now as the Celtics, the Bucks, even the Sixers. I mean, the Sixers, I'm not that scared of the Sixers. Like, they should have beat them the other night. I think the clock operator kind of effed us over. I think Dinwiddie got that shot off in time personally. And the 2-minute report came out, and Harden definitely fouled Dinwiddie, but it wasn't called. So the refs kind of screwed us in the Philly game. But even Cleveland, I would have concerns about them as well. But yeah, it's just, listen, I don't want to dwell on the past, as I said, but it's just frustrating. Like, you had two superstars, you had a chance to go all in this year, and you just chose not to, and now we're kind of stuck with, like, this youth movement type stuff. And like, as I said, maybe it works out, but you know, we've had so many moments as Nets fans of like, oh, just be patient, let the young guys develop. And like, I'm tired of that stuff. Like, we had it and we just gave it away. So, you know, I wish we were getting these wins. If we won on Saturday night, I might be in a better mood right now, but losing two straight, it just sucks. So I wish they were able to find a way, but that's not the case here. So I do believe for the Nets, there is one game left until the All-Star break. I believe it's Wednesday against Miami. I'm pretty sure the Nets are home in that game. But let's see. So yeah, February 15th, home against Miami. They come out of the break at Chicago, at Atlanta, home versus Milwaukee, at the Knicks, at Boston. So you got some easy ones and some very tough ones there. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I mean, I'm trying to look at the entire second half. You have some very winnable games, but there's going to be the tough ones, of course. I mean, it's really not that bad of a schedule. Like, the final 2 months, or the final month, I would say, is not terrible. Like, after they play that Denver game at Denver, there's nobody. I mean, they play a home game versus Denver too, March 19th. But after that, there's not like an automatic loss anywhere. Like, they can probably compete with most of those teams. So hopefully by that point, the team will have continuity and no more excuses about why they're not playing well. But yeah, the season is kind of coming to an end pretty quickly. I mean, it is, mid-February now. Season ends on April 9th, so we are getting there. Obviously, I don't have the highest expectations for the playoffs at this point. I probably would have if we still had Kevin and Kyrie and added a couple pieces at the deadline, but unfortunately, that's not what happened here, so we got to deal with what it is. I also can't stand Joe Tsai. I know that tweet came out during KD's first trade request in the summer, and there was that quote that came out that Joe Tsai would rather have a 40-win team that he's proud of than have what he had with the big three and even Kevin and Kyrie. And I just hate that mentality. Like, I despise that mentality. I hate mediocrity in sports. Like, some fans love mediocrity. I don't get it. Like, some Nets fans are still like so excited about like the 2018, 2019 vibes. I don't give a shit. Like, that stuff does not move me at all. Like, I don't care. I don't care about the vibes. I want to win. I don't care about the vibes. Even with the Giants fans, when I do the football, like, some people love mediocrity there too, and I just don't get it. Like, bro, it's about getting championships. It's not about mediocrity and getting yourself, in the 7, 8, 9 seed, or in the NFL getting 8, 9 wins a year. It's not about that. It's about trying to achieve the ultimate goal, to be the last team standing. And, what the Nets did last week during the trade deadline, it was not a move to be the last team standing. It was a move to try and build for the future when you really didn't have to. All you had to do was just pay one guy, and that was it. You would have been fine. But unfortunately, that's just not how it went. But yeah, for this game, it was annoying. But the Knicks were definitely the better team. There's no doubt about it. It had to end at some point, this winning streak. But of course, the first game we played them without stars. They beat us. And the Nets, of course, don't have a closer anymore. Dinwiddie is kind of a closer, as I mentioned. Cam can be a closer. Mikal, we'll see. But when you had Kevin and Kyrie, the Nets would consistently close out these very close games with the Knicks because they had Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, and now they don't. So it's going to take getting used to, but hopefully they figure it out. But that's really it. I mean, the Nets have a good defensive team, and the unfortunate thing is that the drop off from guys like when they took Dorian Finney-Smith out and they took Mikal Bridges out and had to go to Joe Harris and Royce O'Neal. You can see the drop-off. There was a big drop-off there, so unfortunately for those guys, they're probably not playing as great of defense as you would want to. Joe Harris was never that bad of a defender, and then he got the ankle surgery or the multiple ankle surgeries, and now he's just not the same defender anymore. So, it sucks that Joe Harris, he is what he is at this point. He'll have some games where he's great and can't miss, but this was not a game to play Joe a lot. You can tell pretty early that Joe was not really. This game was not meant for him, and Utah Watanabe definitely would have been the better option. I mean, Utah will take us to the rim more. He plays with more confidence at this point. He is a better defender than Joe Harris, which of course is not saying much, but still, Utah, in my opinion, would have been the better play in this type of game. So, yeah, the Nets finished with 22 in the third, 23 in the fourth. That's 45 points in the second half. You can't have it. So that's it's very bad, especially for how things went against Philadelphia last game, where you could not score much in the second half either, especially the fourth quarter in that game. So yeah, the Nets have some second half scoring issues right now. They do, and we'll see if they can fix that throughout the season. I think the All-Star break's hitting a pretty good moment for the Nets here because they have time to get more acclimated together and just get used to their surroundings, and gives Jacque Vaughn and the coaching staff more time to know what the hell's going on. So hopefully they do figure that out. But I might make a video after the Heat game on Wednesday. We'll see how that goes. If not, I'll probably make some type of All-Star break video. Any recommendations for that video, let me know. It could be like a mid-season grades type video, although half the team is gone now, so I don't really know if there's a point of making that, but maybe like a second half record prediction. I don't know. We'll think of something, but let me know in the comments. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will talk to you guys next time.